Viewers, welcome back. As we were discussing with His Excellency Pankaj Saran, and I had placed a few questions to you. Would you care to comment on that?
No, thank you, Fahim. I think you asked some very, very pertinent issues about the relationship and about the perception of that relationship in Bangladesh. Well, let me begin with the most difficult issues that you have raised. Let me start with, in fact, the question of border killings.
Right.
Now, this is an issue which is a matter of deep concern in India. What we have done in the last 2-3 years is we have, together with your government, tried to look at the whole question of border management in a comprehensive manner. Now, if you have a border which is 4,096 kilometers, which is riverine, which is in parts difficult to enter, and more importantly, which on both sides has divided families, ethnic linkages, civilizational ties. And there is, the reality of it is that there is a lot of trade and other kinds of activity. All of it may not be legal, and a lot of it is also illegal, which is going on. And there is ethnic and religious and linguistic similarities. Then it is a challenge for our border guarding forces on both sides. But we have to manage this border in a way that we make this border a border of peace and harmony. That means we make this a border as a gateway of goodwill. So what we have done in the last 2 years is we have put in place a framework for the management of the border with the objective of reducing all such incidents which you have mentioned, which are most unfortunate and should not take place. And we are committed at the government level that we have to do all that it takes to bring these incidents down to zero.
Zero tolerance, they said.
Zero tolerance. Now, since there is no time, but I could explain that, what we have done in the sense of, say, improving border infrastructure, facilitating trade, cross-border trade, opening of border hearts, a revival of the district level coordination committees.
Right.
Then we have a coordinated border management plan between the two border guarding forces, which was signed in 2011. And above all, a very intensive mechanism of dialogue between the two home ministries, which starts at the level of the home ministers and goes right down. And a similarly intensive dialogue at the level of the director generals of the two border guarding forces, which goes right down. So if you look at the whole panoply of measures, I am confident that in the days to come, you will see a distinct improvement.
If I may interrupt, these things are taking place already. And like I said, the people over here are waiting. And these are extremely poor people from both sides of the border.
Sure.
And these incidents are extremely painful. And the media, right or wrong, they come out with the real pictures even. And extremely painful. And here, two countries who are supposed to be extremely friendly cannot resolve this. Or efforts are there, I must admit, efforts are there. But we need to see some concrete results. I'll leave that to you.
Thank you.
To discuss. And another subject or few subjects, I cannot leave you, without asking that to you, is the visa issues. I knew that you thought that I would be asking. In one way, I would compliment it, that you have changed the system, you have updated it, you have put it in online. Now, I'll give you an example. My colleagues over here or friends elsewhere, they said that first destination, easy destination is India. They go for tourism, for medical reasons, for education, whatever. And visa, per day, I don't know how many thousands you issue. Then you have updated it. Everything is just fine. But the problem is that in online, you are given a date that Mr. X will show up. Now, he has a family of 4. He and his wife are given dates like 3rd July. And the daughter is given a date like 4th September. And another one has not even been called. So out of the family of 4, 2 in 2 different dates, the third one after 4 months. And now, where does one go? And if they go and talk to your consulate section, or if they even send messages, they say that you have to reapply. And then the whole ball game starts again. How do you, I mean, it's very natural that the whole family will be traveling together. How does that happen? I mean, and why should it happen?
No, I am very sorry to hear this, that this is the kind of experience that you've been,
I'm facing that all the time. I'm getting questioned.
It's not good,
Yeah.
and we have to correct it. This cannot be a sustainable situation. We have in the process of, we have actually in the last few months conducted a review of the whole system, and we are in the constant, mode of reviewing our systems. As you know, we have outsourced the operations
Right.
to someone else
Exactly.
to operate on our behalf. But definitely, this kind of a example is not a good example, and we must.
Can you tell our viewers that in such cases, what should they do?
Well, I would say what we have done is, we have a few months ago, we have now begun a visa helpline.
Visa helpline.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, this visa helpline has 3 email addresses, and it has about 2 to 3 telephone numbers. And I would encourage your viewers to actually email their problems to the visa helpline. And I know that not in 100% cases, but in the majority of cases, the visa helpline is working.
Wonderful.
And they're able to provide solutions and assistance to the applicants. We had a problem, I must admit, in the last 3 months, where we had an overload and our system was working at full capacity.
Yeah.
We were working beyond office hours. We had deployed extra people to cope with the demand. So there was a problem in the last 3 months. But we are probably seeing the end of that problem and more stabilization. But we are in touch with our headquarters to try and see how we can augment our visa staff and visa processing capacity. And we are looking at different solutions. One of the things which we have, of course, done in the last 1 year is that we have also tried to rationalize the whole visa process, in the sense that we are now giving many more long-term multiple entry visas than we used to give in the past.
Like, for example?
Say, for example, the most vivid example is in the case of business visas. So now we are issuing up to 5 years multiple entry business visas
That's wonderful.
for bona fide businessmen.
Okay.
I think, to my mind, this is the first time in 42 years,
True.
since 1971,
True.
that we have reached this, arrived at this regime. So when you talk of, the relationship, I think some of these successes are not spoken of.
Right.
But I know for a fact that we are getting excellent feedback from the business community. And people are very happy that if your papers are in order and if you've...
No, Pankaj, that is fine. But what I'm saying, the common people, they go off to Calcutta, and you have the type of communication we have. We have 3 ways. We go by air, land, or by
But
train.
even on tourism,
tourism.
even on tourism, we are giving multiple entry long-term visas.
Oh, you are?
We are.
Okay.
So we are moving away into a more a regime which is actually helpful to the more user-friendly, so that the same person, his interaction with the High Commission gets minimized.
Right. On medical grounds, for instance, emergency, is there a separate window?
We have a separate window for medical emergency visas. You need not take any date. You can just walk in to the outsourcing agency, and they have an exclusive dedicated medical counter, which the High Commission, we exercise very close oversight to make sure that they are delivering the correct services. And for medical, we have, you can jump the queue, and you have facilities to, and if you have a problem, again, the visa helpline exists. And but we try to be as helpful and as friendly as possible for medical visas.
So that would be great information for our viewers.
Absolutely.
Now, touching another subject which is very close to you and me and others, is the people-to-people contact between the 2 nations. Now, having advantages of these borders, as we say, from all sides, we have 3 ways of reaching your country. You have 3 ways. It's the air, land, and the railway. What is the latest status? Now, a lot of people say it takes hours in the customs. It takes such a long time. From our side, I can say the infrastructure areas become a reason for delays and other things. From your side, the customs side, as well as in Bangladesh side. But all these deter people, rather than attract people to go there. Can those areas be focused at or looked at or made easy?
No, absolutely. I mean, this is one of the key areas of our policy, how we can encourage more people to people. And, it is such an exciting area of the relationship that anything that you do, you at the end of the day find is not enough, because there is so much potential. So let me say, for example, this integrated check post, which has been inaugurated 2 months ago at Akhoda, Agartala. Now that has got nothing to do with this government.
Right.
Yes, the government was a catalyst in enabling this and they were helpful. But this is an asset which will remain with the people of both sides, regardless of who's in power. And we have now set up this integrated check post. And I think it is a commentary on both our governments, frankly, that it has taken 42 years for this kind of facility to develop.
True.
I mean, this could have been done, 20 years ago or 30 years ago.
Absolutely.
So I find the glass is always half full. And now we are in the process of upgrading, similarly, the integrated check post at Petropol, Benapol. And I have seen the new facility, it's under construction, and it should be ready in about a year's time. And that will, make a remarkable difference in the ease of trade and travel on the West Bengal and Bangladesh border.
That's right.
So that is one, I would say, is a concrete example of helping people to people. The visa rationalization or liberalization.
And then you have exchange of cultural troops, then journalists and others also.
Now, for example, on the train, again, this is a new initiative. It was not there earlier. What we are trying to do is to revive those links which existed in the good old days between India and Bangladesh. And the railways actually united both our countries.
That's right.
Before partition and even after partition.
One of the gifts of the British.
One of the... Well, absolutely. So we now need to consolidate that gift. And so this Maitri Express was begun. It had teething problems, but my reports are that it is now very popular. But it's a long journey.
Yes.
And we have set up an empowered group of the railways on both sides. They are discussing various solutions on how to reduce the time taken for the journey. But it is helping the people who cannot afford to fly. On the land, as I mentioned, we have these integrated checkposts, again, which separate immigration, separate, trade and transit, facilities.
Wonderful. You being here as a friend of Bangladesh, beside being a diplomat, I have a request. My colleagues elsewhere, they talk about television broadcast rights. Now, people-to-people contact or friendship and the exchanges are all good. But I think, 30, 40, 50 TV channels are viewed in Bangladesh. Now, I know what you would say, that this is the cable operators and all. But on a personal note, if this attention is brought from the point of view of contact, people-to-people contact, that there are people who would love to see Bangladeshi programs, but for certain reasons or for whatever, even if the carriage fee is high, at least let us know that we can enter that. And can we get some assurance from you?
Yeah, let me make it absolutely clear, Fahim. There is absolutely no legal or any other bar on Bangladeshi channels being telecast or broadcast in India. So this, I would really like your viewers to understand that there is absolutely no legal bar. In fact, I know for a fact from one of your own television, distributors that there are 2 TV channels which are playing as we speak in Kolkata. And I myself have taken the initiative of speaking to Doordarshan.
How are they showing that? Are you aware?
They're being carried by some cable operators in Kolkata.
With a very high fee?
I don't know, because that is a commercial arrangement, so I have really not got into that.
Okay.
But what the person concerned, who's a Bangladeshi, told me, who's a distributor here, he has told me that he has himself got 2 channels playing out in Kolkata.
Okay.
But having said that, let me say that I am myself very keen that people, not just in Kolkata, but in the rest of the country, are able to watch Bangladesh television. And we, for example, have an agreement between Doordarshan and Bangladesh BTV.
Right.
It's not being implemented as well as it should. Your information minister had gone to Delhi 6 months ago, and he discussed this with our information minister, and they again arrived at a certain solutions. And the idea was that the government of India should facilitate and bring together the cable operators from India and the channel owners and operators from Bangladesh, and try and see if we can do some matchmaking. Okay. But this effort will continue. We are very keen. After all, there are a lot of international channels which are available to the Indian viewers, and I see no reason why channels from Bangladesh should not be. Because if you look at the entire Bangla-speaking population, it's huge. The number is huge.
That's right.
You have 160 here,
Believe
and another
me.
90 there.
Believe me, it is there. Excellency, we are coming to the end of the program, but like any media guy, I would be interested if you want to make any announcement of any good news between Indo-Bangla relationship in future, any high visits, any scoop as we call it, if you have one. And before I conclude this program, I would also request you to say a few words to our viewers so that this channel is viewed in many parts of the world, in Asia, in Africa, Australia, South Africa, Middle East, huge, India partly, as you said. So it's there. And not because of that, we value your, friendship, and we would like to hear some good things from you.
Well, thank you very, very much, Fahim, for hosting me and for inviting me to this very exclusive show, and on such a excellent channel which you are. So for me, it's a great privilege to have this opportunity to be here with you and to be able to talk to such a large audience through you. I would just say that as the Indian High Commissioner, I feel very privileged to be in Bangladesh. This is one of our most important assignments overseas. But what I would really like to do, and I believe that's where the real future of the relationship lies, is in talking to the younger generation. I find that the potential for cooperation and the goodwill is actually enormous between the two countries.
Thank you very much
for
coming and taking time to come over here.
Thank you very much.
And viewers, I'm sure that you enjoyed this program as much as I did, but I'll request him to come over again. Thank you, viewers, for being with us. This is Fahim signing off. Goodbye.